Hello everyone and welcome to the Cypress and Sparrow Homestead. My name is Sarah if you're new here. Today we are talking about our garden plan, and so we're gonna hop on my computer here and we're gonna take a look at all of the things that we are putting in our garden this year. So it is the beginning of February, and so everything is nice and cold and dead, and so it's really exciting to start thinking about what we're gonna put in the ground and things start growing. And so we're just gonna take a look at see all the different varieties we're putting in this year. And it has to be kind of strategic, too, because you're not supposed to put tomatoes next to potatoes, and you're not supposed to grow certain things where certain things grew last year. And so it's kind of like a big puzzle trying to put together where we're gonna put things this year. And so we're gonna take a look at that. We'll also take a look at our Zone 4 planting calendar, which is really helpful to try and remember when you're supposed to start seeds indoors, when you're supposed to harden them off and put them outside. And so we'll have that also as a free resource for you guys if you're interested, and if you're in Zone 4, when to start planting things and putting them in the ground. So yeah, we're just gonna take a look here at my computer and what varieties we're putting and where. Alrighty, so looking at our garden here, it is about 30 feet by 30 feet, and we have 22 boxes. And we do square foot gardening, so every square foot has a different plant in it. Typically. So like onions, you can put 9 onions per square foot. Tomatoes, you want probably 1 plant per 2 square feet. Jalapenos, you put 1 per square foot, things like that. And then carrots, you have 16 per square foot. So every plant has different spacing requirements and how many plants can go into each square foot. And so I'll just take you around all of our boxes and describe what's in it. So looking at this box, this first box, we have carrots in half of it and we have peppers in half of it. So we have 2 types of bell peppers, an orange sun pepper and the California wonder pepper, which is I think just like a green pepper, green bell pepper. And then over here we have 2 boxes of onions. So we planted these onions in the fall. We planted the small bulbs so that we'll be able to harvest them relatively early this year. And then just off to the side, in gray, I have zucchini, and so each one I have what was in that box the previous year, because you're not supposed to plant certain things where certain plants were. And so like nightshades, you don't want to plant potatoes where tomatoes were, because they have the same types of diseases that they're susceptible to, and so we don't want them in the same box, because then they're more likely to get that disease. And so, okay, onions. This one we have Roma tomatoes. We have, so this brown line here is like a trellis for the tomatoes, a support for the tomatoes. So we have 3 plants on each trellis. So there's 6 plants total for this box. And then in this one we have tomatillos with jalapenos. So the tomatillos were just huge last year. So I'm giving this one a little space, and we're just doing 1 because they're very productive. And then we have 8 jalapeno plants because Austin really likes to do his pickled jalapenos. So we're gonna do those, make some salsa verde, it will be lovely. And then this box is broccoli. So broccoli is a heavy feeder and they deplete the soil. And so we put these where beans were, because beans are light feeders and they put nitrogen into the soil. So you kind of have to be careful about where you put broccoli. And then this next box is shell peas. So there's two plants per square. I think you can actually go up to 4 plants per square, but I want them all to be able to like climb on the trellis, and so we're only going to do 2 trellises per this box. So we have shell peas, and we put them where tomatoes were last year, because legumes are always good to put after nightshades. Then this box is our Black Beauty tomatoes. We've got 3. And then we've got basil here. And then this box of garlic we also planted in the fall, so hopefully we'll get an early harvest for the garlic. All right, and then this box is where we had our broccoli last year, so this is where we put legumes this year, the jade bush beans. Then we have our Brandywine tomatoes, and then our small, I don't remember the type of tomato. We saved the seeds from last year. They were really good little tomatoes, and so I don't remember what they're called. Then this box is peas again. We had peppers here last year. Some of these might become animal feed because we don't eat that many peas. All right, this box is all peppers, crimson Crillion, Bikino pepper, sweet circus, and Avenata peppers. This one is the San Marzano tomato, which Austin is super excited about to make different tomato sauces, pasta sauce. They're really good for that. And then over here is our cucumbers. So this is gonna have a trellis from this box to this box. with our cucumbers, dill, and marigolds. Marigold's kind of like a filler plant, at least in my mind, because dill gets so tall that it's going to kind of drown out anything else on the other side, so I'm going to put marigolds there. And then we've got a box of buttercrunch lettuce, merlot lettuce, cosmic crimson lettuce, and then more broccoli here. And then kale. So kale, you can do 4 plants per box, or you can do 9 plants per box, just depending. So when there's 4 in a square, 4 per square foot, then they'll just get bigger. The 9 per square foot, those we'll harvest them earlier. They'll be a little more tender. And over here, we've got celery, cabbage, buttercrunch lettuce, cosmic crimson lettuce. And then this box is all gonna be onions that we're gonna start seeds this month. And so we'll plant those from seed instead of from bulb. And then this box is just spinach, and this box is zucchini. We had so much zucchini last year. We're just gonna do 4 plants in 1 box instead of, I think we had 3 boxes of it last year, and it was intense. And then this trellis here is just gonna be flowers, I think, because zucchini doesn't trellis, and neither do peppers. So flowers, yeah. And then outside of the box, so I think that was the whole garden. And then outside we're gonna have potatoes. So we kind of ran out of room for potatoes, and we want to do more potatoes this year because we definitely didn't have enough to last us through the winter. So we're going to do some more. And then we're going to do our sweet potatoes outside the box because those grow a lot deeper than so in our square foot gardening, you only need like a 6 foot like depth, and that works for most things except sweet potatoes. Were growing underneath like the weed cover fabric. And so it didn't really work out too great for sweet potatoes. So we're gonna put those outside this year. Same with our spaghetti squash and our melons. I think it's like a honeydew type melon. Those just grew so far and spread out, and they started to take over other boxes. So those are outside. And then we're gonna have an animal feed section of our garden. So we're gonna do millets, we're gonna do sunflowers, quinoa, wheat, hard red wheat, corn, and then, strawberries. Strawberries is for us. I'm really excited about a strawberry patch. And then we'll put blueberries somewhere, depending on what variety we get. We'll put blueberries somewhere. Really excited to do some more fruit this year. So that is it for our garden. And then I'm just gonna hop over here, our planting guide. If you guys wanna grab this, I will have it, zone 4. It's not totally fleshed out. I think I need to fill it in a little bit more, but so here early February, we have, I'm gonna start onion seeds. I'm also gonna start a couple peppers and tomatoes, it might be a little early for it, but I wanna try it just because our big tomatoes last year, we really didn't start getting any of our big tomatoes until like, I think late September, which by then it's getting cold. And so the plants definitely didn't have time to produce what they could have. So I'm going to start those now, so hopefully we can start to get fruit earlier, and then they'll be able to produce more and whatnot. And so March then, we're starting indoors, more peppers, jalapenos, the big tomatoes, and broccoli will start indoors. Then in mid-April, we will start the small tomato varieties because those produce more quickly than the big varieties. And then we will be direct sowing spinach, kale, peas, lettuce, and potatoes. And then you can see over here, the second to last week, basically the last week of April, we'll start to harden off broccoli, and then the following week we will directly plant the broccoli into the soil. Here in the beginning of May, we're gonna direct sow the carrots. We'll start the zucchini and spaghetti squash indoors. Then we will plant some more lettuce, kale, and spinach for succession planting. So we're gonna continue to get harvests all summer into the fall. And then the 21st of May is approximately the last spring frost here in our location in zone 4A. I think we're 4A. Or are we 4B? Anyway, zone 4. So that's when we're going to plant our sweet potatoes, our celery, and we'll direct plant our bush snap beans. Then we'll transplant tomatoes the following week, because tomatoes are very much like warm weather, so we just want to make sure those will thrive, and so we're going to plant those after the last spring frost. And then June and July, pretty empty. We'll plant maybe a little bit more kale for a fall harvest. August, pretty empty. And then September into October, you can start to plant like the garlic bulbs and onions. things that will start growing again in the spring. And so that is what we have for our planting calendar and our guide this year. All right, thank you guys for watching. That is our plan for our garden this year. And if you're in zone 4 and you'd like that cheat sheet guide, feel free to grab that below so you know when to start seeds indoors and when to plant them outside. We'll be making videos as we go, as we're starting seeds. So if you'd like to see those, feel free to subscribe. And then, like I said, it is February here, and so we're not gonna get things in the ground for a while yet. So if you'd like to see how we grow greens year round, we just made a video about that. So feel free to take a look at that right here.